Dear Mr. President Joseph Daul, dear colleagues, dear friends. The economy and energy aside, the EU is facing two major strategic challenges today, coming from south and east. First strategic challenge is underdeveloped southern neighborhood, Mediterranean coast of Africa and Africa itself, with unstoppable illegal migration flow to European continent. Despite all our current efforts, illegal migration is and will stay a strategic challenge for a very long time in the future. It will never be solved if we would not take it seriously as a problem of the entire European Union. Second strategic challenge is the eastern neighborhood, with tens of millions of people living in 6 countries who want to join EU and NATO, and with big neighbor of this neighborhood, Russia, where its leaders still breathe nostalgia after collapsed Red Empire of the Soviet Union. Currently, of course, the second challenge is undoubtedly in our focus, because it brought security risks right to our doors. We would not come into this situation, facing this current crisis in Ukraine, if the European Union had not been too tolerable against violation of human rights and abuse of power, to slow its enlargement, and if NATO 2008 summit in Bucharest would not give the de facto veto power on enlargement to Russia. We should have granted membership action plans to Georgia and Ukraine then. We did not, and this was a historical mistake. And now we are facing the consequences. Dear colleagues, there is also a third, finally in our program recognized challenge, called failed transition in some post-communist countries. Failed transition undermines our reform efforts and keeps strong post-communist and pro-Moscow forces at the head of the EU and NATO member states. And this is nowadays a great security risk. They know in Moscow everything within 30 minutes after closed NATO and EU summits. We apparently did not know anything on time about plans and preparations to seize Crimea and create another frozen conflict in our neighborhood. Ukraine teaches us the very same lessons again. Now we see enlargement of the European Union and NATO the same way as at the beginning of both processes, primarily as a security projects of European and global peace. It should stay this way. In this situation, this has to be our strategic answer. Dear colleagues, there are European elections ahead of us in May this year. After great and important and mostly victorious struggle with the economic crisis, this is not a small challenge. We fought the crisis and we paid the price. Almost 40 years ago, European People's Party was established as a political family whose identity is defined by values, by its concern for peace and the protection of human rights, parliamentary democracy and market economy. Members of the European People's Party assembled today in Dublin represent decisive driving force in Europe. We have the possibility and also responsibility to keep Europe safe and make it a better place, to widen the area of stability and prosperity on our continent, to communicate European values in a global arena, and to increase EU political and economic influence in a global world. After last events in Ukraine, it is even more important that European People's Party remains a decisive force in Europe. We just got another strategically important reason why we must win EU elections. Thank you.